Everyone, let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if my mic is good. Let me know if y'all can hear me. How y'all doing tonight? What is going on, Erica Spearman? All right, Erica said I'm good. How you doing? How y'all doing tonight? What's going on, Christopher Dukes? Mr. Goodwin Steeler, what's going on? Y'all know we got a lot to talk about tonight. It might be gonna be some hurt feelings tonight, so we have to strap in for this one. I'm definitely gonna have to open up the phone lines tonight because I know a lot of people want to call in and get their opinions on, what happened this weekend and what happened, I guess today. What came out today with Coach Prime's interview. A lot of people from Jackson are upset about that, so we're gonna have to talk about that tonight. What's going on, Bryson? What's going on, Nuke? That 6-minute interview was horrible. Deion continues to throw JSU under a bus every time he does an interview. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Give me 1 second. Let me put up my logo and everything. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. Israel, what's going on, Israel? Shout out to you. SWAC Buzz, the coach staff was tired of me yelling at them being out coached. Yeah, y'all. Jackson State lost 77-34 this past weekend, as everyone knows by now. It is all about ego and pride for Deion. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little later. But we're gonna talk about Jackson State right now. Yeah, so they lost big. A lot of people were arguing with me this weekend because I took the game seriously. I don't know. I guess a lot of other people didn't take this game seriously, but I take every game Jackson State plays seriously. I wanted Jackson State to perform well. I didn't want a blowout. Some people was like, "Oh, well, it's an FBS team." Me personally, I don't buy into that because I feel like if we want players to forego going to FBS schools to come to our schools, we gotta want to beat these schools. So I didn't like some of the attitudes from some people when it came to this game. Like they were just like, well, it's a FBS team, No, you should never want a team or be okay with a team putting up 77 points on you, especially breaking a record. I think that's the most points Jackson State has ever allowed in the history of the program. In the history of the program now, before Walter Payton, all that. They've never had that many points put up on them before. So that's a problem. That is a problem. So there's definitely something that needs to be done with the defense and special teams. There was an issue with special teams on the FAMU game, and that problem is still existing. So there's definitely a change that needs to be made, and I'm hoping that TC makes that change. So yeah, I'm not cool with Jackson State losing 76. I don't care who it's against. We didn't play Alabama or Georgia. Play Texas State. And I know everybody's saying, "Oh, well, they beat Baylor." I don't care if they beat Baylor. I don't care. This is not an SEC team. Matter of fact, I think Jackson State have played SEC teams and not lost by that many points. Well, not let them score that many points. So I wasn't cool with that at all. But I know it's not the end of the season or anything. Jackson State still has a lot to play for. They're getting into conference play now. They got to hope for FAMU to drop a couple of games so they can get into that SWAC championship. But I mean, for me, I just think for the morale of the program, you don't want to lose like that. I mean, they can bounce back this week. I'm pretty sure this week they're gonna try to take it out on Bethune-Cookman. You know, they play at home. They play Bethune-Cookman at home. I expect them to blow Bethune-Cookman out. I expect them to be mad, come out angry, and blow those guys out. What's going on, Elo? One. But JSU also put up 34 points, though, the most any SWAC school. See, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about, like, why do we care about our team putting up points when the other team has scored over 70 points or over 50 points? At that point, you gonna let off the gas. You know, that's not a flex. No, let's not do that. Come on, y'all. Do understand Texas State is good. I'm not saying they're not good. They're not Georgia, though. If Georgia played Texas State, who you think gonna win? If Georgia played Texas State, who do you think is gonna win? Georgia's gonna smash them. Come on, man. SWAC, I wanted to suit up pass on. They suck D1 line, run defense, special teams. I was so mad if they keep playing like they did. I don't know. I think they're gonna get it fixed, you know. And I know people don't like to hear stuff like this because you know you only like to hear the good stuff because it don't taste good. It's like medicine. You don't like to hear criticism, but hey, it's gonna be some criticism because the special teams don't look good and the defense didn't look good. That needs to be fixed. If Jackson State plans to fight for a SWAC championship, they're gonna have to fix that, especially the special teams. You know, that needs to be fixed. You would have a point if those points came in garbage time, but they didn't. Javon, they put up 35 points in the second quarter alone, dude. The second quarter alone, they scored 35 points before halftime. What are you talking about? What are we talking about, y'all? Come on now. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Tell me, maybe I'm tripping, y'all. Maybe I'm tripping. 35 points in one quarter in the second quarter alone. And we talking about some garbage time. The garbage time was in the second quarter. SWAC boy, what's the phone number to call in? I'm gonna put it up. Well, I'm gonna put it up now. You know what? We can go ahead and put it up now. Because I know somebody want to call in and cuss me out and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I already know it. It don't taste good. I know it don't taste good. I know. And I'm a JSU alum now, but I'm not finna sugarcoat losing like that. Come on now. There's the phone line 657-390-4814. 657-390-4814. I know y'all want to call in and let me know that I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. Big Reese said the offense couldn't stay off the field. I think, hold on. Let me answer this phone call. Hold on, y'all. What's going on, Jerome?
Hey, all is well, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Am I tripping, man? Am I tripping? Or should I just,
I'll say this. On the surface, you're not tripping. But for those of us like you who watch the game, there's some variables that got to be taken into consideration, man. That open kickoff, yes, that was horrible. Excuse me, the first touchdown, that was horrible from special teams. I can honestly say, not just because I'm a JSU alum, but the subsequent other kickoffs, I counted at least 3 holding on each one of those kickoffs. Number 2, there was a point, man, when Jackson State went up, I think we scored, it was 20-28 in the second quarter. It was on live TV, bro. A dude from Texas State punched I believe it was Jency or one of the other dudes, man, in the face in front of a ref, and they didn't even throw the flag. There were so many opportunities, man, where they did not throw the flag on Texas State. Now, look, I'm not taking anything from Texas State. The roster that they put together, you got to remember this coach, first-year coach, he was the head coach at Incarnate Word last year. They were one bad call away from going to the FCS National Championship last year. They had a stacked roster. Though he did bring a good amount of those players to Texas State, next to Colorado, Texas State had the best recruiting class out of the portal this offseason, next to Colorado. So they had a ton of guys that came in from FBS programs. Now, considering all that, and considering the horrid officiating, which quite a few Texas State alumni and fans mentioned after the game, Jackson State hung on with the boys, man, for the better part of the first half. It wasn't until, look, I'm going to tell you, when the wheels fell off, when Jackson State hit that 20 mark, it was 20-28, you can tell, man, that's when the refs really put it in overdrive. Like, for them to rack off 35 points in the quarter, like you said, that's unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not normal. And one would think, okay, either Jackson State is really sorry and they gave up, which we know that's not the case, or they're getting some home cooking. So I will say in the second half, yeah, you know, they put in, you know, their second string or whatnot, but the home cooking was still going on, man, well into the second half. So for our guys, you know, number one, shout out to all the alumni that made it out to the game. I know we had like 3 alumni chapters in Texas that went out to support. But shout out to our team, man. They fought back, very resilient. I know Jackson State scored more points than Baylor did versus Texas State. See, and I know you feel like, it doesn't matter, 77 points.
See, I'm looking at this comment. I'm looking at this comment. This is what I'm talking about. SWAC Buzz is being unreasonable and clearly didn't watch the whole game. Come on now. So
I believe you watched the whole game.
Yeah, I watched majority of the game. I started I was on my way home and I started watching the game when it was 14-7, I want to say. Yeah, 14-6. That's when I started watching. And I was like, okay, they done scored, you know. All right, we looking like something. And when it went to 20-28, when they went up like 50 something, I turned it off. I couldn't watch it no more. My blood pressure was up at that point. I couldn't watch it no more. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. But I'm okay. I understand everything that people are saying, but maybe I'm not a coach. So I'm gonna ask you this. Wouldn't it make more sense at that point, if you know you're not gonna win the game, to kind of chew the clock up to get up out of there? You know,
you talking about for Texas State or Jackson State?
For Jackson State. To kind of before Jason Brown hikes the ball, let him run the clock down to at least 2 seconds. Every possession. Every down. That's what I would do, so we could just go ahead and speed this game up so we can get it over with.
Well, if this were a regular team, yes. But man, the way Texas State's front line was getting back there. Now, I'll give our offensive line their credit. Did a great job, man, against those. Those are some huge dudes. But Jason Brown, I felt like he did a great job of recognizing the opponent, the opposing defense, and getting rid of the ball pretty fast. I'll give him his props for that. He scrambled quite a few times. Actually scrambled for 1 or 2 touchdowns, which is amazing, especially against that defense. But if this were a regular team, yes. But these brothers were loaded, man. Like, those are some big jokers. Now, I will say this, man. I feel like looking at the performance, yes, the defense, we got to address just open field tackles, just fundamentals of tackling. You know what I'm saying? Because that was atrocious. But honestly, man, from top to bottom, I do not see another team in the SWAC on our schedule to challenge us for the rest of the season. I really don't. Looking at the performance, that we've had so far, like the 2 wins we've had versus South Carolina State and Southern, anybody can clearly say we left a lot of points on the board both of those games. I really feel like the offense is clicking, and I feel like, man, the
Yeah, the
defense is
offense is
coming
fine.
around somewhat. Absolutely. But in reality, I do not see another team this season giving us a lot of trouble. Just being like, Texas State was clearly the best program we played so far this year, and we put 34 points on them. We were hanging with them, man. Most of the first set, 28-20, and then I promise you, man, it was like the wheels fell off from the referees, and it just got ugly. So I want to know your thoughts as far as, aside from defense and the special teams, what would you grade us overall as a team for that one game?
For this one game, you
Yeah.
talking about the offense? I would give the offense a B. I think for that
Okay.
first half they did okay. For that first half, defense I would give a F. Special teams I would give a F. I mean,
Yeah.
and when I watch the defense, I'm seeing poor tackling. I'm seeing guys kind of not giving effort. And I hate to say that about any football player, that they're not giving effort, but when I'm watching it on TV, I'm seeing guys kind of giving up on plays. You know, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe. Let me ask the people in the chat: did y'all see plays like that where you'll see a guy that looked like he possibly could make that tackle, but he's kind of like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm going ahead let him make it. And I see stuff like that. I be watching stuff like that. So I don't know, man. That game was kind of rough. And then when I watch special teams, like just their lanes and stuff like that, it doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look clean. So they have to fix that. They have to fix that.
I mean, you know, when, even for the FAMU game, man, there were quite a few holding calls that we didn't get.
And let me say this for the people in the chat. I hate to say a player is not giving effort, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about the poor tackling, because that's one of the that's kind of insulting to a football player, and I don't want to insult a football player by saying that he's not giving an effort, but the tackling I seen in that game was very poor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, you know, regardless of the blown calls and the home cooking that we've seen, maybe 2 of the games we played, there's still definitely room for improvement. You know, another caveat, I'll give this team so far for the season an A. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think any other team in the SWAC or FCS has started the schedule with 4 away games. And we're not talking about just, you know, local away games, you know, to start out 6-7 hours away in Atlanta, about 10 some odd hours in Miami, and then of course, you know, down the street in Baton Rouge, and then
that's fair.
In St. Marcos, Texas.
That's fair.
You know, it's like, at what point do we say, okay, where does the fatigue come into play? So a lot of people had us starting the season 0-4, or 1-3. But for us to be 2-2, we possibly could have been 3-1 heading into, you know, this week. I really want to give this team an A for resilience, and, you know, you can tell that they're not winded. Like, I'm seeing a lot of teams, man.
A.
But you can tell they have.
You said an A?
Yeah, I'll give them an A, given all the circumstances. And I feel like they've handled. No, look, it's not necessarily being generous. Okay. I'm just taking into account.
That's your opinion. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just everything they've had to overcome so far. With the being on the road for first 4 games, got a first-year head coach, essentially a brand new team coming together, gelling, turning out all the noise and all the distractions from, you know, the previous administration. I'll give them an A, man, because I feel like if any other team, let me ask you, any other team aside from FAMU in the SWAC, if they were dealt the same cards we were dealt, do you think they would be 2-2 right now?
I mean, who else can compete? Grambling is okay, but they can't compete with FAMU or Jackson State. Alabama State
Right.
don't have a quarterback, so
They lost the money.
there's really no other team in the SWAC that really can compete. Alcorn, they're not going to be able to compete either. So the SWAC is pretty much top heavy this year.
Yeah.
FAMU and Jackson State is pretty much the only two teams, that really looks formidable. And I would
Yeah.
say it's sad that the best two teams are not going to be able to play in the SWAC championship, because we need to do away with those divisions, because now we might not get the best two teams to play.
Well, I mean, I disagree because, going back to 1999, the whole purpose of the SWAC, implementing the SWAC championship game, Jackson State and Southern were kind of going tit for tat in the 90s.
Yeah.
They both split 3 conference titles. Alcorn won 1, Grambling won 1, Bama State won 1. The conference essentially wanted to.
I forgot about PV. PV looks good. Yeah, I forgot about them.
I think PV and Alcorn are going to. Yeah, PV and Alcorn they're going to battle it out for the West. But I'm a proponent of the SWAC championship game, mainly because it gives us another platform to be in another nationally televised game.
Mr. Ford, I'm gonna get you on just a minute. Go ahead. You go ahead and finish your point.
Yeah, it's a great look for the conference. But unfortunately, the last 2-3 seasons, Jackson State and FAM, best two teams in the SWAC, happen to be in the East. When you look back in the mid 2000s, that happens to kind of be the same scenario. Like looking at Bama State, Alabama A&M, they were clearly, two of the better teams in the conference, and they were always going. The Magic City Classic essentially decided who was going to the SWAC championship. So again, man, like don't be too high to the point. Looking at it's like an eyesore. But for those of us like yourself who watched the game, there were a lot of great takeaways aside from the poor officiating that we can hang on to move forward for the rest of the season. And again, I'm not being biased. I just do not see any other program challenging Jackson State with our scheme, our skill set, both sides of the ball. I highly doubt it. And plus, here's another good caveat. If things don't go well for our quarterback, our QB1, we've got another mobile quarterback to fall back on. How many other programs in the SWAC can say that?
Right. But you also got to get that special teams right, because that special teams can keep a sorry team in the game.
This is true.
So you got to get that right.
This is true. Is Mr. Ford on the line?
Yeah, I'm gonna get Mr. Ford on here.
Okay, you want me to hang up?
What's going on, Mr. Ford? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Mr. Ford, how you doing, sir?
Hey, this Charlotte, isn't it?
Yes, sir. How you been?
Yeah, how's it going? I saw A&T got another whooping from a bottom feeder called Elon.
Man, let me tell you, Mr. Ford, these folks up here hot, man.
I know it, boy. I tell you who should be hot, too, because if that team was in the MEAC, they would be a threat for that Celebration Bowl, is Hampton. Now, if Hampton was in the black college ranks, they would be one of our top teams.
Absolutely. Now, did you watch that Howard game when they played Hampton this weekend?
I saw the highlights. I didn't see the whole game. I just saw the highlights.
That was a really good game. And
that's what I heard.
Howard got a squad, man.
That's what I heard.
State. Honestly, I've got Morgan State coming out of the MEAC this year. They look scary.
That's what everybody's talking about, man.
Yeah. And you know what? If you follow their coach, I think this is his second year. He came out of Bowie State. They were making consecutive runs in the D2 playoffs for a while. So I'm really not surprised what he's done at Morgan State in such a short amount of time. But they look scary and they look legit.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ford,
I saw some highlights from the Richmond Sparta game, and then I saw some highlights from the Akron game. Now, I haven't seen the highlights from the Towson game yet, but there are a lot of people, like you said, keeping their eye on Morgan State. A lot of people watching them.
I was gonna say,
sorry,
Jerome. So I want to hear Mr. Ford's take on that State game. So Mr. Ford, what you got to say about what we was talking about?
Okay, listen, let me tell you something. First and foremost, man, we got to give that Texas State program their credit. I just told Doc, the guy who is the head coach at Texas State, I'm giving him 2 years. That guy's going to be either in the Big Ten, the ACC, or he's going to be in the Big 12. That's how good that guy is, man. Now, the thing that I told Doc tonight was this. He is not helping TJ Finley to make it to the pros. And the reason he's not helping him is because he's cut down the passing tree. And basically, they just making about 5 to 6 throws. But the game plan that Texas State is running is real simple. What he tells TJ to do is this. He runs that guy in motion. If the DB follows him, that lets him know that they're in man-to-man. All he does is go straight to crossing patterns. Once he runs them in motion and the defense doesn't slide, he knows that they're in zone. All they throwing is what we should call he's throwing up the hashes. The reason Finley is looking so different than he looked at Auburn and the way he looked at LSU is because this guy has simplified everything. This guy right here, that's the coach at Texas State, that cat's a big timer, man. That cat's a big timer. I'm telling y'all now, listen, I give him 2 years. He will either be in the Big 10, the Big 12, or the ACC. If he goes to the ACC, he's going to take it over. If it's one of them schools that's willing to put the money behind him, he's going to take it over. Because you know the ACC ain't got nothing but Clemson, to be honest with you. That's all they got. But anyway, let me tell you this. The number one thing that
Go ahead, John.
The number one thing that I saw in that game, Jackson State has an outstanding offensive staff.
Yeah.
With that Maurice Harris and them, man, that's a good staff, man. Now, the defensive staff, I like Bradley and them, but one of the things I'm seeing is they late on making adjustments. And I was telling Dr. Knight, I see some schematic things that's got to be changed. Now, here's the thing that kind of worried me. Them same problems I saw in that FAMU game, guess what? I saw them again Saturday night.
Yeah.
That ain't supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. So you're supposed to clean that up. You played FAMU, what, 2 weeks ago? How long ago y'all played FAMU?
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, you're supposed to clean that up. Now, this other thing I told Doc tonight. The weakest part of Jackson State's defense right now is straight up the middle. It's straight up the middle. Now, one of the things he's got to do, I'm not saying he's got to do it the whole game, but Jackson State has got to play 3 linebackers. And I'm talking about not no small DBs. They got to play 3 linebackers. They don't have to do it the whole game. But when it's a run situation, they got to play 3 linebackers, man. Because let me tell you something. And I was talking to Blue about this tonight. Them linebackers, that Peppers and that other kid, they took too many shots on the second level from them offensive linemen. You can't do that. You see, that's what'll make your linebackers punch drunk. Okay? The 4-2-5, it's good in passing situations. But when you got a team that want to run that ball down your throat, you got to bring them LBs and you got to bring them DBs down in that box, man. Mm-hmm. You got to do it. Now, to be honest with you, I saw some times with the way they was running, Jackson State should have went 4-4. 4 down linemen and 4 linebackers. I'm being honest with you. 3 linebackers and 1 DB, because they was running it straight down their throat, man.
Yeah.
But now, let me tell you what you do with them kind of games. You put them games away, you learn from your mistakes, you get better, and you play your next game. Now, they don't need to let that game right there beat them this week against Bethune-Cookman. Okay? Learn. The first thing Jackson State got to do, they got to get that special team straightened out.
Yeah.
Especially that kickoff team. He got to change that personnel. See, what he's got to do is that kickoff team got to be DBs and linebackers. Them folk he got out there, he got to I hope the first hour of practice today should have been number special team. Now, one thing that was obvious, y'all offense in a good play. Y'all can say what y'all want.
Yeah.
Now, I think it was 21-13. Y'all was right down the hill. You know what opened the floodgate? The special teams.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up 2 touchdowns consecutive. They put the kickoff team out there, gave up a touchdown, put them back out there again. I think they gave up an 80 or 90-yard run. They got to get that special, man. You don't get that special team, like they say, special team make or break you, man. You got to get that special team straightened out first. When they came to practice today and Sunday, whatever, special teams should have been the first thing they worked on. All right. Now the other thing I'm seeing is defensively, it's some schematic things got to be changed, man. They need to get rid of that 3-3-5 totally. That thing is killing them, man. I told Doc during the summer, I said, look, he bring out that 3-3-5 on Willie Simmer. Willie gonna kill him. And didn't Willie do it? Yeah. You can't run. See, the 3-3-5 has natural creases in it. It can be run on. Okay? What Jackson needs to do is Jackson needs to go to that 4-3, and then when it's a pass situation, pull one of them linebackers and put a defense and go 5, what we call a nickel defensive backfield with 5 defensive backs. But the majority of the game, they don't need to have no 5 defensive backs in the game. They need to look at, because the middle for Jackson right now is too weak, man. They got to bring in another linebacker. See, this is another thing, like I told Doc tonight. John Huggins got to start, man. I don't know what they're waiting on. John Huggins got to start. See, John Huggins can play on the line. He can play in the linebacker thing, and he can play in the secondary. John Huggins has got to start, man. He's got to start. Because there's no way you can put him on the defense, and he's lost.
Mr. Ford, let's see.
He has got to start.
Let's see who we got. Let's see who we got on the line. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
All right, what's up, man? This is Fan U KJ.
What's going on, KJ?
All right, I was just calling, man. Just kind of giving an update on our victory there. UWF, man, I'm going to say that they probably will beat 80% of the teams in the SWAC. So a lot of people was like, "Oh man, you guys had trouble with a D2 school," but like I said, they'll beat 70 to 80% of the teams in the SWAC, man. They think they're ranked number 5 in D2 football, which is I think they're in the Gulf South, which is one of the best D2 conferences in the nation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think again we have the talent to just pretty much run the table. I was more so impressed is that I hope the FCS poll will now look at our game against USF after what they did to Alabama and give us a little bit more credit for what we were able to do to them. So that should be interesting to see how they look at that. As far as for Jackson State, what happened, I had said this earlier on another show, and just talking about people have to understand with special teams, especially when you're talking about the FBS program. Oftentimes, the twos for your FCS program against the twos for your FBS program is going to be a major difference. So that's why your special teams play a lot of times is such out of whack, because the corners and the safeties and maybe a few linebackers that you do have on the kickoff team, kickoff return, those kind of special teams, there's a major difference. So that's why you see such a jump or domination sometimes with special teams at that level. Now, I know Coach Taylor was saying that he still looks like he has players out there that don't want to be there. Then that's a problem, and he needs to go and cut bait on. If a guy feels like he don't want to play special teams, then get rid of him. Yeah. Get rid of him, because that's a major important factor in your team winning a game. And you got a guys that half stepping and don't want to go out there and give it 100%, and that's the time when you can have a big play. And you got to cut bait on that. And
the body language, body language tells everything. I mean, us as spectators, we can see this. We can see their body language that 100%. They're not going 100%. Some of these guys, and so I'm hoping that TC can really get that fixed. I mean, sometimes you just got to get those guys that's sitting behind these guys the opportunity. Let them feel the pressure, and then they'll work a little harder. Before you got something to say?
I want to ask him how many. Now, you're going to beat Alabama State by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns?
I'll say this much. We go win by 1 point and keep moving. This is the thing. I don't try to, because sometimes expectations sometimes can get you a little bit out of just keep just win, baby, as Al Davis used to say, and keep it moving. I think what Coach Simmons realized was that, hey, let me get Musa in a situation where, like I said, I've been screaming for this for the last 3 years, man. We have some of the best tight ends in the SWAC. And have not used them one iota. I mean, we locked in so much on Xavier Smith and the wide receivers, but the tight ends sometimes are wide open.
I think y'all gonna drop one game.
Say that again.
I think y'all gonna drop a game though. I think somebody gonna sneak up on y'all.
It won't be Southern. I can tell you that.
Let me tell you why I'm gonna disagree with that. You can win the SWAC with good defense and special teams, which what we do pretty well. And defense travels, your special teams can travel, and so your defense can turn 3 and out, and next thing you know, you got your punt return there. We got one of the best return specialists in the league. So even if we start off slow, your defense can and special teams can pretty much make. And the SWAC just does not. I don't know, for some reason, man, the coaches just don't put a major. And Willie has been very, very adamant about all 3 phases of the game, and that's why we've been kind of fortunate enough to win, especially on the road, man. Those are the kind of game-changing plays that you can do on special teams.
Let me ask both of y'all that one of the things that we brought up tonight was there's a chance that 3 coaches in the SWAC West could lose their jobs. What do y'all think about that? Because they're saying that McKinney could be out. If Dooley don't do better, he could be out. And they're even saying Fred could be out. What do y'all? Because a lot of people are saying that the coaching on the east side is better than the coaching staffs on the west side.
Well, I can see Fred being on the hot seat because I feel like Alcorn may have reached their ceiling. I don't think recruiting wise he can recruit against Jackson State and FAMU.
Right.
So I don't know. I think they've kind of reached their ceiling. I don't see them being.
What about Dooley? What do you think about Dooley's situation? Because some people are saying that this might have cooled the alumni because he beat Alabama A&M. But the word at Southern this summer was Celebration Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
So what you think about Dooley's situation? Both. I'm asking. I'm not just asking both of you. What do you think about Dooley's situation?
Well, I will say this much, man. If the guy got you to the SWAC championship game last year, and you want to know, I don't care how he got you there, you got there, and you're gonna cut bait on him. I don't think that's a good. I think you give him another year to do that. Now, if he falls on his face this year, I think you give him one more year to see what happens. But hey, he got you to the SWAC championship game against a tough JSU team, and he didn't realize until late, he should have had a different quarterback, and they performed well when they had him in there. So I don't think you need to cut bait on the guy. I think you got to give him, another year if he got you that far his first year.
Well,
what do you say to the people down in Baton Rouge who are saying that if Southern wants to be mediocre, keep Dooley, but if Southern wants to win the SWAC and win the Celebration Bowl, they need to go find somebody?
Well,
what's your retort to that?
Well, I think first of all, Dooley, when he first got there, I was always kind of iffy on that hire because I honestly felt like they should have went with someone that could out-recruit the other SWAC schools. And I thought a lot of people was against Falk, but I thought that name, he would have got some recruits down there. And you just need a figurehead, somebody that can bring recruits in that want to go play for them, and you just build a staff around you. A lot of people are against the celebrity coaches and stuff like that, but I do believe those guys have the power to draw in guys on the coaching staff that are great offensive and defensive minded guys that can bring something new to the SWAC. When Coach Prime came down here, the guys that he brought, they had a new flavor. They weren't the typical SWAC coaches that's been around the SWAC for a long time. So they were able to bring new philosophies to their team, and that's why they were able to dominate, in my opinion. It wasn't just because you can have talent and still be garbage. You have to have,
Right.
great coaching to match with your talent. So I think if they got the opportunity, only if they can get somebody like that, I would do away with Dooley. But if they can't get someone like that, you might as well stay with Dooley, because whoever else you bring in, they're gonna pretty much be on the same level, in my opinion.
I would say this much: we got to be careful, man. Whenever you have turnover, that's just not. You cannot have every 2 years a turnover and coaches changes. When you do that, you pretty much keep the program in turmoil. You got to give someone a chance to establish something, because what starts to happen now is that recruits start to look at it and go like, man, you guys have had 4 coaches in 3 years. There's no stability there. So when you kind of do that, that gives, and believe me,
that's fair.
A school like FAMU, we go use that against you in recruiting. So we're trying to get the same player. I'm gonna be screaming in that mother and say, hey, listen, don't send your son to Southern. They have shown that that coach is probably going to be there maybe 2 years, and then you looking for somewhere else to go. So most coaches are going to use that against you when you're trying to show that you every 2 years you flipping out coaches. Hey, you can't continue to do that.
But
like I said, I think you got to give him 1 more year to see what he can do, and then you go from there.
I think Southern is way too prideful though for that. Let me
ask you both of you this
question.
Ahead. If you were, hypothetically speaking, if both of you were ADs and you had a chance to hire Art Browse or Jay Hobson to head your program in the SWAC, would you do it, and why?
Well, I wouldn't touch the Art Browse thing because of the press that would bring. So I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't do that.
What about Jay Hobson?
I mean, that would be a good hire, but I don't think Southern would do that. I think Southern wants to make a splash. If they move off Dooley, they're gonna try to make a big splash.
What about Jay Hobson at Texas Southern?
You said Jay Hobson at Texas Southern?
Right.
I mean, Texas Southern, what are they doing?
The word is if this guy don't win this year, he's out.
Yeah.
I'm saying you the AD at Texas Southern. Would you look at hiring Jay Hobson or Art Browse? And you said no for Art Browse.
Like I said, I wouldn't touch Art Browse because of the press that's gonna come with that. Now, as far as Jay Hobson, I guess for Texas Southern that'd be a good fit, but I think Southern can get something bigger than that. I think their brand in their school, I think they can do something bigger than Jay Hobson.
I think a Jay Hobson for Texas Southern would be awesome. I mean, the guy, if he turns it around and in 2 years or 3 years he's gone, okay, hey, you turned us around. That's all we can ask for. Let's try to build on that. But Southern, again, even if he turns you around, the guy's not going to be there 2 years, maybe 3 years. If Southern wants to kind of play that kind of hot potato with coaches and, just doing anything to try to say, hey, let's get this program turned around. But we know that if he does it in 2 to 3 years, he's going to be out of there and going on to the next best job. Okay, that's good. But again, it's as an AD, this Southern is such a blue blood, man, that I got to get somebody in there that I can say, hey, man, we need somebody in here for about 5 years that we can really build us and bring us back to prominence, that can really get us back to where we're going to be here, got a good, solid coaches that we can do the recruiting that we need to do, build a freshman class and take it all the way through. That's what I would look at that.
Well, let me ask you this. You think that Southern is going to put up with Dooley's mediocrity for 5 years? Do you believe that?
No, they're not.
No. Like I said now, for you, but you got to give him one more. I don't think you need to cut bait on him this year, but you got to give him one more year. Now, if he continues to just show mediocrity and just not doing anything, then because he came with so much promise, from
well,
that.
Actually, he was 20 and 17 in the SWAC in the years he was at Prairie View. That's mediocre. He was only 20 and 17.
But look, you're talking about Prairie View now. I mean, you talking about that was the bottom of the barrel. I mean, after Willie.
But you go to Southern with higher expectations, but you've already shown that you're mediocre, and you think you're gonna survive at Southern.
Yeah, I think Dooley probably is gonna have this year. They may give him another year, but I don't see it. Like Southern fan base and their administration is way too prideful to be second fiddle. They're not trying to be second fiddle to Grambling, Jackson State, and these other schools. They're trying to win. So they're not going to just sit there.
I mean, the way it's looking, Southern's going to lose the Bayou Classic this year. They're going to lose the Bayou Classic.
I can see that happening. What did you say, caller?
No, I just said he just took you to the SWAC championship last year.
But you got in because everybody else in the conference was trash on their side.
But regardless, he still got you to the SWAC championship game. He won the West.
It doesn't matter if everybody in the West had bad records. Well, their records wasn't that good. You got in by chance because
you're back in.
Yeah,
you're back in.
But you had to be in position to get in by chance. So
I think what SWAC is saying, and I say this too, that now even though they did get to the championship, from what I was told, the fan base was very unhappy last year. And from what I was told too about that quarterback situation, that was the administration that brought Willie Todd in there. He didn't bring Willie Todd in there. They went out and got him. And now the word is they feel like he's underutilizing Willie Todd. That Todd should be the offensive coordinator.
Now, if that's true, Mr. Ford, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem down there.
If the administration went and got a guy and forced the guy onto the coaching staff, that's now as head coach, that you might even see the guy resign then. If they went out and did that, because that's a shot fired.
Well, see, here's the thing. From what I was told, the alumni, the fan base, was livid about that whole Bubba McDaniel situation last year. They felt with the talent that they had last year, they should have won 10 games. Like SWAC just told you. They turned around, I think they won, 6 games, SWAC? What did they win?
I believe so.
I think they won 6. So, like he was telling you,
right now, even
though they did make it to the SWAC championship, a lot of people thought they were underachievers and that they were undercoached. And like you said, that could be a problem now, because the word is that the administration is the one that brought Willie Totten down there. Because of the whole fiasco with that, what was that kid's name? McCoy? What was that kid's name? What was that quarterback's name last year?
I think
Bichon, was it Bichon something?
Hold on, let me see.
Well, anyway, they just thought that was awful. And from what we were told, the fan base was just tore up, man.
Well, they were 5-3 in the conference. They were 5-3 in the conference, and they were 7-5 overall.
7-5 overall, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I really don't think Dooley's the answer for what now. I think he was good for Prairie View because Prairie View's expectations are not the expectations of Southern. See, at Southern, when you go to Southern wants you to beat Florida A&M. Southern wants you to beat Jackson State. Southern wants you to beat Alcorn. And then it's automatic. Southern wants you to beat Grambling. Okay? He ain't beating Jackson. He ain't going to beat FAMU. We don't know what he's going to do with Alcorn. And he ain't going to beat Grambling.
Yeah, they're not just about to sit around and accept that.
Yeah, because you got to remember now, At one time, Southern was the largest black university in America. It was one of the few black colleges that had 3 campuses. Remember, they had a campus in New Orleans, the flagship in Baton Rouge, had a campus in Shreveport. Like you, I think one of y'all just said it. Southern is a prideful school.
Yeah.
Okay. Southern don't care nothing about FAM. They don't care nothing about Jackson. They don't care nothing about Grambling. None of them schools. They think they better than all of them. And you think they gonna let this boy do this mediocre stuff down here? You know, you lose everybody, but then Alabama A&M come in and you beat them, and then we supposed to be happy? That's not Southern.
Doc said be Sean McCray was the quarterback's name.
Huh?
Yeah. So Mr. Ford, now this is the same thing now that everybody was saying when they let Odoms go. That
it was a mistake.
Right. So do you learn from that and be able to say, okay, before we get too trigger happy, because this guy couldn't beat Alcorn,
right?
You get too trigger happy and you pull the trigger, and then too fast, and then you're left with, how do we? So, how do you go about that? Because like I said, who knows where they could have been if they would have kept Odom. But again, they get into, so much.
Now,
you want to see a change so quickly.
One of the things we haven't mentioned is that the alumni, the fan base of Southern, is really ticked with Roman Banks. Because see, that was the whole thing with running off Dawson Odom. That was a Roman Banks production. Okay, then you bring in this Rollins guy, and don't nobody know what he was doing. And then you're in the second year duel, and you're basically saying, what is he doing? But see, all of this started with Roman Banks. So that's why there are some people at Southern right now that want to call him on the carpet, because they feel like he has helped destroy that football program. You said. Okay.
Ms. Ford, let me let everybody know the phone lines are open, y'all. If y'all want to call in, 657-390-4814, 657-390-4814. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So go ahead.
I'll go ahead and clear out so other people can call, man. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Ford, let me ask you this. So I know you heard about the interview that Prime did, right?
You know I saw the interview. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I told them, I'm gonna say this again. Prime is a habitual liar, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing for him is who believes the lies that he tells. And one thing that Prime always wants is that he wants to control the narrative. Okay? He wants to control the narrative, not the truth, but what Prime says. That's one of the things he does have in common with 45. Okay? Both of them got to control the narrative. So I was not hurt like a lot of people are hurt, because I've heard Deion lie and deceive before. That's nothing new for me. Okay? I told you the other night, he don't have no loyalty to nobody. In 2 years, he gonna be out of Colorado. Yeah, especially if that boy go pro this year. If Shedeur goes pro this year after this season, and he decides that he's ready to go to the NFL, which I think he should. Listen, Deion's gonna be out of there too. It might not be this year, it might be next year, but he's gonna be out of there. He's looking for the next stepping stone. That's Deion. It's all about Deion. Okay? All you got to remember, he's a habitual liar, and besides being a liar, he's a deceiver. So that was nothing surprising for me what he said last night.
Yes, anybody can call in. Anybody can call in. So what I think is, I think Prime kind of let that guy goat him into saying some of that stuff.
Well, but he went now. Supposedly he made it. Now he said the statement that Jackson wasn't thinking fall. Did that man goat him into saying that?
Well, no, you're right there. You're right.
And then they gonna show, try to make Jackson look bad by showing the pictures they show.
Yeah, so that's the kind of dirty games that the media play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're trying to make it look like he just came from this, this terrible situation, and he went to greener pastures, and he just so blessed now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that, and I feel like Prime.
Oh yeah.
If you have any respect for Coach Reed, T.C. Taylor, all these people that you left behind that you made relationships with, all you have to do is come out and say, hey, I did this interview. I didn't mean it for it to be portrayed like that. I love Jackson. I appreciated my time there, and I'm wishing y'all the best. All you have to do is say something like that, and that can smooth.
But you got to remember, Prime is for Prime.
Yeah. They can smooth things
Prime,
over.
when he came to Jackson, he thought he was bigger than Jackson State. Just like he told the guy asked him about the good coaches, he said, go get him a mirror. See, it's about Prime. Okay? There is no humility. You know what they say? Pride goes before the fall.
Yeah.
There's no humility.
Well, I one thing I can say, I do agree that he cares a lot about his image. He cares about his image, because he's even DM'd me about something I posted. I posted something that his son posted, and he DM'd me, was like, hey, he didn't like that I retweeted something that his son tweeted. And so he
listen, he's controlling the narrative. That's his style.
Yeah, but I never put that out, because I'm not a clout chaser. And I think think he was expecting me to do that. I think he was expecting me to make videos about it. Oh yeah, Prime DM me, and no, I don't care about that. That's not the type of dude I am. I'm not about to do that. I know some people will, but I'm not about to do that. Like I said, I'm a fan of Coach Prime. I'm a fan of him. I respect him, but I do not like the way he left Jackson State, and I don't like that he's been silent when the media is clearly trying to put Jackson State in a bad light. When you moved on already, and you still have people that you have relationships with back at Jackson State, you can do something. You can say something to smooth things over, so it won't be so, messy. Yeah, but let's get a call on here.
The reason I wasn't surprised, because I know that he's an eye person. Okay, don't nobody matter but him. Okay, and his family. All right, and so when you understand that, and like I told you, he's a habitual liar. And the most important thing is how many people believe the lies that he tells. Then what he said last night was not surprising to me at all.
Let me get a call on here and see what they have to say.
Okay.
What's going on, Caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? Kind of turn the screen. Turn the stream off in the background, because it's going to be playing.
I did.
In the background.
I did.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Doing great.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good. I just happened to get on YouTube and happen to see you guys come across my thing. I've never seen any of your shows, never heard any of your shows, but
okay.
I am a man of color.
Okay.
I own 4 different businesses, and I will say this much, I try to give back to the community as well and do things, but something that's kind of been embedded in us, and it probably goes back to the slave days, okay, that we don't trust our own, and we're always hating on our own. And me personally, that's a big issue. Instead of empowering and supporting, we're always hating because someone's doing something or trying to achieve more.
Okay? So let me ask you this.
I'm sorry, but it just really hurts me, because at the end of the day, he is a businessman, and he does have to make decisions as well as a coach. Okay. And the guy is a great, just like he said, he's left a blueprint for Jackson State. But I'll just say this much to you. If you're ever in a relationship and you have a bad marriage, sometimes you have to walk away from that marriage. There ain't no reconciliation, and you just move on.
Okay. Let's keep it right there. Okay, if you're gonna walk away from the marriage, are you gonna badmouth your ex-wife to everybody that you come across, or are you gonna have the love and respect for your ex-wife not to do that?
But you got to understand, there's 2 sides to every story. Okay.
Okay, but your ex-wife
And
not saying nothing about you though. Your ex-wife has moved on and trying to build her life and do what she want to do.
When he left Jackson State, everybody was mad at him. Correct?
But who's mad now?
They felt like that he moved on, but here's the thing: there's administrative problems with that school. And you look at how many presidents
they have new administration now. They have new administration now. The president is gone.
Well, they do now.
The president that Coach Prime had the issues with, he's no longer there. So we can't keep blaming it.
Well, but you got to understand, when you run a business, sometimes you do business with people, and sometimes you just have to say it's not worth it, and just move on, because you can't sit there and try to help a business and not do it. Okay. I'm in marketing. Okay. All right. I own an ad agency, and there are clients sometimes you can talk to you blue in the face, like trying to have a horse, lead them to water and they won't drink. They don't get it. And he can't sit there when he's trying to do things. He's bringing in all his resources, all his connections to help that university. And then there were things going on that just were blatant. And as far as it goes, the biggest thing with our culture, sometimes we don't trust our own. We never trust our own. And that's a big issue that needs to be resolved. You look at other cultures, you look at the Jewish community, you look at the Asian community, the Hispanic community. They network together. They're successful with what they do.
Okay,
but
so
the Black community doesn't do that. And when you do try to do it, then
hold on. One thing I would say when people say things like that, this is what I like to say. Black people, what it is with us, we have a short leash for our own. We will accept mediocrity from other races, and then as soon as a Black person do something, we'll complain about it. I could take the restaurant business, for example. When you go into a Black restaurant and some things are wrong, you will see Black people complaining. They will complain. They'll go on Twitter, get a Black restaurant a bad review. But how many times have y'all seen Black people line up to go into a nasty Asian restaurant? Y'all know the Asian restaurants that's in the hood. Come on now. Tell me I'm lying. Y'all see the conditions those restaurants are in, but we'll line up to eat that sugary chicken. And as soon as a Black restaurant that's trying to get off their feet is doing something, we'll go on Twitter, we'll get them bad reviews and everything else. So I would have to say that to that. Go ahead, caller. I'm gonna let you finish up.
Okay then. And I apologize. It's just a lot of things because I deal with this every day. Okay. I'm in an area where the percentage of people of minority in the state that I'm in is 3.5%. Okay. And so there are those haters that are out there that are white that don't want to see a Black man succeed. Okay. So we're dealing with entities more than but in our own Black community, I'm the kind of guy that kept my head to the ground. Okay. I went to school in California, moved back here and I'll just tell you, I live in West Virginia. Okay. But I will share this with you. As I succeeded and do things, I had people hating on me, my own race, and I haven't done anything to them. I have never tried, and I try to give back. I try to embrace people that are starting new businesses and things and try to help people. But at the same time, it's just embedded in us to not want to see our own succeed. We should be supporting any person that is going out there and doing something positive, whether it's for the Black community or not. We have a mindset to want to bring each other down. It's like the slave master has embedded in us, don't trust our own, and we rattle on everybody.
No, I don't feel that's fair, because you can't be mad at Jackson State people for feeling some kind of way.
I'm not mad at Jackson State.
When they have continually tried to move on, and there have been muddy things done to them. Like this 60 Minutes interview, the way they portrayed the city. You went and found the worst looking house to portray Jackson to make Colorado
Well, I
look
know,
good.
and listen, it's
That's
no
terrible.
different than situations. Let me just tell you what I deal with, okay? You know, I'm out there in a professional world. You know, 99%, practically 100% of my clients are white, okay?
Okay.
And I have to fit into their world, okay? And the perception that goes on, it's no different than when you see riots and things that are going on and the looting. They always portray things negative. The press pick and choose, and they divide us. It's not us dividing this. It's the press that just adds that on. And yeah, I watched the 60 Minute thing just recently, and they showed pictures of Jackson State, some dilapidated house and that mural. You know, that broke my heart. You know, it broke my heart.
So my
that.
question is, how can you all be mad at Jackson State and attack Jackson State fans? See what it is. A lot of people have idolized Deion Sanders. I'm a fan of Deion Sanders too, but a lot of people have idolized him so much that anytime anything that they feel like is going against Deion, they will attack that. And so you've seen some people attack HBCUs in the most vile ways that I've seen. I've seen some black people go at HBCUs in some of the craziest ways because you idolize somebody, because you love a celebrity so bad, you will attack a black institution that's training our middle class. You know, without HBCUs, our middle class will be shot. You know, these are what the black lawyers, the black doctors, all these. When you see a black doctor, a black lawyer, 9 times out of 10 they got their undergrad from an HBCU or something like that. So we need to take care of our schools and be appreciative of our schools because we need them. Go ahead.
I understand that, but at the same time, you know, the bottom line is if you got someone place 2 meals in front of you, okay, 2 meals are placed in front of you, and one of them is a filet mignon, and the other one is a chuck steak, okay, you know, ground up hamburger with some mushrooms and onions over the top of them and gravy, okay, which one would you choose?
And guess what? If that chuck steak came from a black-owned restaurant, I'm buying that chuck steak. Because my dollar is gonna circulate in the black community. Because my dollar is gonna circulate in the black community. It's not gonna circulate.
I'm talking about just what you choose to eat. If someone says, "Here's 2 meals," it doesn't matter who made it or whatever. You've got something on a buffet or whatever. You're going to go for the better choice. And there's nothing wrong with people wanting to do better. It doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity or not.
I don't think no Jackson State fan has had a problem with Coach Prime getting a better job that pays more money. None of them have had a problem with that. They were hurt. Hold on, let me finish. They were hurt. They were hurt because of the promises they felt like he was making when he came, saying that he was going to change the game for HBCUs. You know, he made a scene. No, he didn't. How? Tell me how.
You don't think he?
Tell me how.
So you're going to say that he left Jackson State in a worse shape than when he came?
No, yes, I'm not saying that. I'm saying how did he change the game and level the playing field for HBCUs? Tell me that.
Well, you know what? Indirectly, you know what's happening? And if you follow a lot of the sports commentators, they're making people take a second look, just like he was upset that, you know, that there wasn't more people drafted in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
And so we had
that.
Hold on. Let me get you there. So we had 4 people drafted when he was here, right? The next year when he left, how many did we have drafted? I'm not saying that he didn't do anything for HBCUs.
State, I'm saying the HBCUs as a whole.
That's what I'm saying. We only had one.
And if nothing else, he's proven that what he's done at the Power 5 is going to make people take a second look at these HBCU kids, and if they go to transfer portal to better themselves, to get exposed or whatever, to go to another college, so be it. That's what it's designed there for.
Let me say this. I'm not saying Deion didn't do anything for HBCUs. What I'm saying is that I don't feel like he stayed long enough to have a long-lasting impact on HBCUs. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel like he stayed long enough. If he would have stayed 5 years, they would have got a new TV deal, new TV contract, and everything like that. New stadium plans built, and things like that. I think that's when real change would have happened. But I feel like the changes that he did make, they can easily wear off in a few years, because the light is gone now. Go ahead, Colin.
Okay, you had me muted. Okay, all right. Well, let me just share this with you. Okay, let's use two scenarios. He came to Jackson State. The facilities, what he did, practice facilities, things of that nature. Things did improve. He got people to bring money in. He brought money in. But at the same time, he's doing everything he can, but the administrative side's got to do their part too. It can't be all on him. He can't be the savior for that school. He needed help from the other side.
But he's the savior for Colorado, though. There. He's the savior for Colorado,
but when
though.
He went to Colorado, but when he got to Colorado, yeah, they already had some infrastructure in place. But who in their right mind would let somebody come in and just totally do what he wanted to do? He went in there and did everything. They didn't stop him. They supported him.
I don't think Jackson State didn't stop him. Now, from what I heard, he might have got a little pushback.
I'm saying that the university's on his side. At Colorado, I mean, he was dealing with entities, and just as well as I do, there were some administrative things going on there. There was issues with how ticket sales were and things like that. I mean, that's out there. I mean, and that's not coming from one person's mouth. I mean, anybody knows, they can see these things. And I'm sorry, but, after so many times, I don't care what the situation is. It's like sticking your finger in a electric socket. You're going to get shocked. And so many times after doing it, you're just like, hey, I'm done. I can't do no more of this. And that's where people get.
Thank you for the call. I had to land you playing. Right, thank you for the call. I'm going to get some more callers on here. Let me see who this is. What's going on, Call You Live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's up, SWAC Buzz? How you doing this evening, my brother?
What's going on?
Hey, man, real quick. First of all, that wasn't no man of color. That was Opie from the Beverly Hillbillies from somewhere. Now, because ain't no man of color gonna sit there and say, I'm a man of color. Either you black, white, Asian, Mexican, Latino, Hispanic, or something. And if you want to talk about, and you want to talk about slaves, no, sir. It's enslaved. Nobody was born a slave. So you need to get your facts straight. It's people like him disgust me, SWAC Buzz. And let me tell you why. That man ain't never stepped on an HBCU campus a day in his life. He never heard of Jackson State until Deion Sanders started coaching there. And they get on there and somebody tell them something, and all of a sudden they know everything about an HBCU. And they never watched the Jackson State football game. And whatever they read in the paper that somebody put on there, oh, see, they got problems at Jackson State. Oh, well, he said this or he said that. These people are so full of crap. Hey, Jackson State moved the hell on. When that man pressed Deion Sanders last night while he left Jackson State, Deion Sanders never gave watch the interview again. He never gave an answer. The man had to come back and say, well, he did say Jackson State wasn't forward thinking. Deion Sanders should have did his research and study and said, you know what? Jackson State, Mississippi Valley, and Alcorn historically has been underfunded.
Yeah.
Read the Ayers case. When they took them to court and proved that they underfunded those colleges on purpose. So listen, Opie, the man of color, if you want to talk about underfunding, you need to go ask Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi, why the city of Jackson is purposely underfunded, why funds are diverted from the city of Jackson. The only capital city in the damn South where the funds are diverted. Ask the governor why they stole $96 million in welfare money and gave $5 million to USM to build a volleyball center. See, these people don't know what the hell they talking about. They get up on here and try to pretend like they black and all this other stuff. Bro, you got the right one. I'm on you, Opie. You better not ever call back in here again talking about you a man of color and you live in West Virginia. Boy, if you don't get your ass somewhere and sit down somewhere, you're better off calling Fox News and telling that story, man. I cannot stand these people, man. What is wrong with these folks? Deion Sanders, you left. You came there, you won. You seen the dollar sign, you took your brand, bye. Leave HBCUs alone, man. When you start losing, don't try to come back to us. Because it's coming. You look, everybody has their downfall. Look, Coach Eddie Robinson, probably the greatest college coach ever, or probably head coach ever, in my opinion. That man had to hang it up. His career, he put in so many Hall of Famers, so many All-Pros, so many whatever you call them, NFL All-Stars, whatever you want to call them. That man had the best one ever. He had to step down. You mean to tell me you beat an overrated TCU team, a Nebraska team that ain't win 6 games, and a Colorado State team that won 1 game last year? Now all of a sudden you the toast of America? Come on, bro. The season just started. But you got to understand, all that you are doing, Coach Prime talking about Jackson State, when Jackson State ain't said a damn word since you left. I have not seen, if I'm wrong, correct me, I have not seen one interview where Coach Taylor or the new president of Jackson State, Ashley Robinson, the AD, said anything negative about Deion Sanders in the press.
No.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. I haven't seen it either. I mean, from everything I've seen, TC Taylor has always said positive things. My thing is with Coach Prime is that he can come out and put something on his platform. He watches everything. He probably gonna hear about this. He probably gonna hear about this show. He watches everything. Yeah. He's in tune to everything. So why can't you just put a post out there showing the people that you don't condone the 60-minute thing? You don't condone the negative attention for Jackson State. You don't condone that. He can easily say that, and it won't hurt his brand or anything.
I mean to cut you off. The SWAC almost kicked my TV. I swear I did. The first picture you showed was a house that was probably built in the 1940s.
Right.
Now, this is the capital city. The capital city. Now, don't get me wrong. Every city in America has something wrong with it. So I don't know why people act like Jackson is so down bad. Every city has something wrong with it. You mean to tell me you couldn't show anything else besides an old dilapidated house? That is wrong. They did that on purpose. I'm telling you, that just like Opie that called in, none of them people cared about Deion Sanders till he started winning. And I'm going to keep saying this, and I'm going to take this to my grave, SWAC. When the city of Jackson brought in that $30 million in revenue from that football season, they said he had to go. Now you creeping on Power 5 money. You made more money than Ole Miss and Mississippi State made in that one football season. Mississippi State and Ole Miss ain't never made no $30 million in no football season. When you start doing that, the economics start kicking in. Now, if they making this money, that means everybody getting paid. From the man that's selling T-shirts to the man parking cars to the man selling barbecue. The ticket's going up. Everything starts to click in place. Deion Sanders had to go. He never understood the real problem with the funding of that school. Everything was bad when you got to Jackson State. Did you ever ask why it was bad? Did he ever read the Ayers case? Did he understand that these people took this money from these schools and did not give it to them on purpose? That's the problem that I believe that a lot of these celebrity athletes and that didn't go to HBCUs, they don't understand that. The first thing that come out of Deion Sanders' mouth, I'm a black man. Bro, who the hell can't see that you black? That ain't the problem, man. You got to understand how these people would divert resources. They were, remember, Jackson just had one of the nastiest clashes over trash collection and that I've ever seen. I said, this don't make no damn sense. But a city council fighting for over contracts and stuff.
Let me get on to the
Okay,
next
man.
caller. Let me get
All
on
right,
to the
bro.
next call. All right, thank you for the call, brother. Yeah. So let me say this. I want Coach Prime to win. I want Colorado to win. I want Shedeur to win the Heisman. I want Travis Hunter to go into the NFL and be a top 3 pick. I want the best for Coach Prime. I want the best for all the guys that played at Jackson State. I really do. But I can say that, and I am a fan of Coach Prime. I can say that and have issues with the way he left, and issues with him not being quiet when he see a narrative is being painted. You know, I have an issue with him being quiet and not saying anything. You can easily say something on your platform that would kind of, you know, keep this stuff down and not have it going crazy like it did. Like you can't tell me Coach Prime hasn't seen all those comments from Jackson State people that were hurt by how 60 Minutes portrayed Jackson. He could have easily said, you got Coach Reed tweeting about this, and he's cool with Coach Reed. So I know he has seen this. So he can easily say something. You know, and we're already, my mom and my sister, they love Coach Prime. They watch all his games. They watching everything. They tune into everything. So I'm always hearing about this stuff. So we do not hate Coach Prime. So I think a lot of people think everybody in Jackson hate Coach Prime. That's not what's going on. People want to see him be successful, but we can want to see him be successful and have a problem with the little things that has happened and that he's been silent about. We can have an issue with that. Let me get the next caller. Hold on. What's going on, caller? You live talking about this stuff. So we don't. Yeah, you got to turn the back. You got to turn the background down.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, you got to turn the show off in the background.
Turning it down there.
People want to see him be successful. Well, we can want to see him be successful.
Hello?
Yeah. What's going on, caller?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm calling from New York, man. And first and foremost, I was actually on YouTube, man. I never came across a show before, but I'm HBCU, man. I went to Norfolk State University, and so I'm speaking from as an alum of a HBCU, and the hate is real, fam. And I'm trying to understand why, because Coach Prime left a very, very strong template for Jackson State to continue to forge forward, from coaching, from administration. Everyone should have been kind of like
explain to me the template. Explain to me the template.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad you asked. Now, keep in mind, Coach Prime, and I'm only playing devil's advocate. I like I said, I'm HBCU. And if you went to an HBCU, I went to HBCU. I went to Norfolk State. It was Division II. We're Division I now. We're in the MEAC. They've been in the MEAC for years. The campus that I attended at Norfolk doesn't look nothing like the campus that we have now. Evolution, and evolving over time and years through alumni and again state funding as well. But nevertheless, I can count on my hand how many presidents we've had. You know what I mean? I could see the different coaches that have come through from different sports. That the turnover rate is not as it is at some colleges and universities within our in our community.
I need to hear about this template though. You going off onto another deep end. I need to hear about this template. Let me hear the template.
Let me share the template The template is simple. You have someone as successful as Deion Sanders who've come into an institution where attendance was down, where not only attendance was down, ticket sales were down. 7 presidents from 2010 to now, 7 different presidents. He came in, and before he came in, there was a strategy put in place for the community, for the campus, and for the students.
So so people not even thinking about what was already placed and put on the table before they even started playing football. All these talks were already in place on what the goal was for as long as he would be there in the event if he did leave, that someone would be able to come behind and pick up and to continue the foundation in which he laid, as far as administration, as far as student body, as far as community. So these things
where did you hear this from?
It don't matter where I heard it from. I'm trying to get you to understand.
No, I'm trying to understand.
I ain't trying to argue with you,
No, I'm not trying to argue with you.
It's all love. It's all love on this end. But what I'm sharing with you is these things were set in place before the ball was kicked off, as far as community, as far as alumni, as far as student body, and as far as administration. There were things placed and set in order before these things were kicked off. So it's not about where I got the information from. I know this to be true. All I'm saying to you is when he got there, he exceeded expectation, and those who would come behind him at that point should have now be prepared to continue to forge forward with what he's accomplished. That's all I'm saying.
So you pretty much just making this up. You pretty much just speculating.
If you feel that I'm making it up, then I'm not trying to argue, man.
I'm not trying to argue with you. But listen to what I'm saying. If you're just making things up and just going by what you feel, you need to let the people know that.
It's not about what I feel. It's about what I understand and what I know. We have to, as African Americans, number one thing we have to be able to do is be open with one another and hear one another out. Now, whether you agree with me or not, I don't have I don't have a horse in a race. I'm HBCU. I understand HBC culture, administration, and how things work within the community. And when a president, not only a president, but a new coach from not just football, but any type of sport on that campus or anything, hierarchy, when they come in, there is a plan, a strategy being set in place for a forecast on what the goal is. And it's not just for football or basketball. It's for student body, community, and administration. How each of those components would be able to prosper and go forward and continue to galvanize that community, that administration, and that student body. It has to be a template. It has to be a structure put in place, no different than the architect coming in to a developer who builds buildings and show the developer what he's made, and the developer okays it, and they start building on that. It's the same thing that takes place where hierarchy is put in place in the institution. Unfortunately, when it comes to HBCUs, there's more mishap in administration than it is at Power 500 schools, because they have larger student bodies. Therefore, they're going to get more funding through Title IV funding, number one. Not only that, they're going to get more funding through alumni. That's two. And not only that, the staff, the administration, they're going to be more eager to put in the time. Not only the time, but they're going to be also giving all that they can give to make sure that the vision that's set in place goes forward. You hear me. This school
I had to land your plane, brother. Let me get to the next caller. I understand everything you're saying. I appreciate the call. Thank you for calling. Let me get to the next caller. What's going on, Cardi Live? Talk to me.
What's up, Sweat Bud? It's Doc Holiday, man. What's happening?
What's going on, Doc? These calls, man. I don't know what's going on tonight.
Man, I done heard it all. Mr. Ford still on the line?
Yeah, he's still on. He's still on.
Mr. Ford.
Oh, Mr.
Man.
Ford, we got.
I done heard everything. I done heard everything. It's what I said earlier, man, on my show. I said Deion was courted by the side, was getting with the side piece and forgot to divorce the main wife.
Right.
And forgot all about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What really makes me mad is that anytime you say anything critical about something Deion has done, you're automatically a hater. You hate Deion. Like, no, that doesn't mean that just because I'm not gonna buy everything that he does, that doesn't make me a hater. I can wish the best for him and then be critical of something he's done. Come on now.
Right. That's what's called critical thinking.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just gotta use our own brains to just think and be like, hey man, what he said ain't the is not right. So he got to get checked too. But my thing is that 60-minute interview came out yesterday. You start seeing all the stuff from earlier this year get regurgitated back on Twitter, back on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? On Facebook, like, well, he put half of his salary on all the amenities. I'm like, bro, he can't even do that. Like, do you have the receipts? You know, because it's like if you don't have receipts for it, then what are you talking about? I don't find you credible. I don't find you as as a reliable source.
Right.
You getting everything from an actual interview when he did Earn Your Leisure, and y'all take a bit of what he said, and then you coming up with your own narrative. So let's stop doing. My whole thing is let's stop doing that. All right. He left Jackson State. We as alum can have a say and say, yeah, it's good that you cool. You left. You wanted to be at the Power 5. You wanted to be at the P5 job. That's cool. Now we could be mad about how you left. Like you left like a thief in the night. You know what I'm saying? We can say that. We can do that.
My thing is I'm not mad that he left. I'm not mad. My thing is the silence to me. That's the thing that I'm like.
And then you
come on, man.
And like Mr. Ford said, like Mr. Ford said, and like you said too. We said all said it. You can kill the narrative just by saying, "Hey, none of this stuff happened. Y'all need to chill out."
Yeah.
But you're not gonna do it because it fits in with what you're trying to do where you at now.
And that's why why I don't understand, because to me it's not gonna it's not gonna hurt your brand or what you got going on in Colorado for you to come out and say, hey man, like let's cut with these narratives. I enjoyed my time at Jack State. Yeah, I had some challenges while I was there, but for the most part, we did a great job at Jackson State, and I love the people there. You can say something like that, and that will smooth things over.
And that smooths everything over. And everybody want to say nothing. You want to hear all this nasty talk about all of our institutions, like where they stole money, our administration is corrupt. You can say everything all about that. I mean, you could squash all about that. But if you're not doing it because of the simple fact that now it's like everything is getting regurgitated. They like people just hijacking our narrative from Jackson State. Like
the shining 676. Call on up. The number's right there on the screen. Call on up. I want all the detractors to call in tonight. Call in. Let me Doc, I'm gonna get to this next call.
Man, I gotta meet them children.
I mean,
thank you, Ms. Ford.
I can stay up, man. I can stay on this moment too, man.
All right, let me get to the next call. Let's see what we got going. What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah. How you doing?
Shooting up much. I got a question.
Go ahead.
Were you the one that blocked Mayorn?
Who?
Mayorn. There was a guy that was commenting in the comment section by the name of Mayorn who was blocked. I believe it was either you or Israel. I was asking, were you the one that blocked him?
No, I have moderators. I have moderators in the chat. They may have blocked them in the chat. a moderator may have blocked.
Okay, because I believe it was Izzo. The reason why is because I am Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
What you got to say?
what's up?
Well, here's the deal. I was blocked in the comment section. I was wanting to know if you can unblock me because I never went after anybody. And I was basically expressing my opinions and the facts that were laid based to me because of a guy by the name of Tim Brewster and another guy by the name of Neely from the pregame show, formerly of Jackson State pregame show. So I was just stating basically some facts.
So what's the facts?
And then I was blocked.
Let us know the facts.
Okay, here's the deal. Remember everybody kept saying that it was pretty much Deion's fault and Deion, regardless of the fact, was wanting to leave. Well, that couldn't be further from the case. Because here's the deal. Here's how basically Tim Brewster in my DMs, here's how he broke it down to me. They had already had a recruiting class already lined up for this season. Not only did they have a recruiting class lined up for this season, but they also had other sponsors and everybody else who they were talking to. The reason pretty much all that came to a halt was because there was a plan. There was a plan already put in place prior to Deion's arrival. That got in the way of the interest of Deion Sanders wanting to level the playing field because he was trying to get JSU into the FBS. That was his ultimate goal, was to get Jackson State into the FBS before he finished out his contract to make his next move. Now, President Thomas Hudson and the administration got in his way. It first started out with the track. But then from the track, it went to the track having their own space because Prime was wanting that track gone so he could have bleachers and everything set. So when people come to see the players practice, they would have somewhere to be seated along with scouting the players for the NFL draft. They got in the way of that. So a lot of this has to do on a two-way street. One, you can say that Deion is a hypocrite because of all the promises he made. But on the other end, you would have to look at Thomas Hudson, who was the former president who was fired in the administration who got in his way of progress.
Well, everybody already knew.
Because that's what really happened.
Everyone knows this though. Everyone knows.
No. They were trying to say, and I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize for that. But what they were trying to say was that it was all Deion's fault. But they never brought up the fact that the administration and President Thomas Hudson, not the current president, but the former president, Thomas Hudson, was the one that got in his way in order to level the playing field. Because, see, here's what they don't want out there. There was a plan put in place for an indoor facility to be put in place for Jackson State University. There was also a plan for the track team, like I was saying, for them to have their own track area. They're working on that currently now. But he wanted the track team to have their own specific area in another space. And he wanted that track to run in that field.
But let me say this.
Deion
can't say where he wants the track team to have their own space. He does not have the say so. That is Ashley Robinson, and that is the actual administration.
Ashley Robinson, but here's the thing though. Ashley Robinson had agreed with Deion, but see, here's the thing. The whole Deion thing coming to Jackson State, it was all based off of It was all based off of Ashley Robinson wanting him at Jackson State. The administration and the president never wanted him. It was all Ashley Robinson. They just went along with it because they were trying to see how much they could get after him out of him before he made his next move. In other words, he was going to finish out his contract before he left and made an FBS move to another school for more money to bring, of course, his coaches up with him and the players.
What I'm saying
Does that make sense?
What I'm saying is you're not telling us nothing that we didn't already know. Like, so
but here's the thing, you gotta
let me talk, let me speak.
Go ahead.
So the whole stuff with President Hudson, anybody that's in the know already knew that they clashed. So that was a big, because Ashley Robinson is his boy. That was his boy. You know, Ashley Robinson and Ashley was gonna leave and go to Colorado with him, but he decided to stay. So I mean, they are him and Coach Prime have a really good relationship. Yeah, him and the president bumped heads, but you have to understand, you have to look at it from both sides. From the president's side, from the administration side, okay, are we going to let someone come in here and just do all these changes when we don't have no guarantee they're going to be around to see these changes through? We don't have it because Coach Prime started talking to Colorado in the summer before the season even started.
Actually, it was
before the season.
Was it September?
Yeah, I
I
think.
thought it was September.
From what he told,
like right before end of September.
From what Rick George said he sent Coach Prime a picture of the stadium and everything that summer. So he had already been kind of flirting with Coach Prime during the summertime, and then then towards the season, towards October, I think is when things really got serious. Close to October.
Correct. There were meetings not only with Colorado but with USF. USF was also included in that package. But here's the thing that people always forget: during the celebration when they were in Atlanta at the Georgia State practice facility, getting ready for the Celebration Bowl, they missed this part. They missed the part where Deion, out of his own mouth, told him that it was a bunch of hoopla, and he never even considered leaving Jackson State because he was on a mission to finish the mission, which was to win the Celebration Bowl. They missed that part. But see, here's the thing. Deion never, and because see, here's where the lie gets started. Deion never wanted to leave Jackson State. His intentions was to finish the mission to level the playing field. But like I was telling another guy on another podcast, it's hard for a guy to want to level the playing field, but then you have a whole administration and you have a president who you were sent to Jackson State to help level the playing field against everything that you're trying to do because of prior plans before you even got to the university. So there's a conflict of interest, is what I'm saying. The way that he left, even threatening the players' NIL, to take the players' NIL away from him because of his frustration, was all wrong. He never should have left the way he did. That was totally wrong. But it was based off of anger and frustration of the administration because of the president getting of his way of progress, because he did everything that he wanted to do or he planned on doing, including getting them an indoor practice facility, their own track, and to get all of the facilities upgraded for an FBS move. They're missing all that because of their emotional anger.
Hold on now.
Go ahead,
tell you this though. One man ain't bigger than the university. It don't matter who you is. It ain't, if you the president, the head football coach, the track coach, whatever. No one man is bigger than the university. And by the last time I checked, the university been there since 1877. So Deion can't say, well, we're gonna get you an indoor practice facility, and you don't, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door, and you don't know if you still gonna be there.
His foot, what I'm telling you is no, his 1 foot was never out of the door. His full intentions was Jackson University. And what I mean by that is this. Yes, no one person, including Ed with the situation. Yes, he should have got fired. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. If TCU would offer him that job after the first season, you think he would have stayed?
No. Here's the thing. He would have never gotten the job because TCU is a Christian. I hate to say it, but a lot of
I'm not saying that.
Play politics.
I'm not saying what it
he never went. But the thing about that is, I'll cut that off before any of y'all can get even into it. He never got interest or never even got a phone call from TCU. That part of it, the whole thing was a lie because he was in the hospital recovering from an injury.
He still took a call from TCU.
No, he never took a meeting or a call. That was a lie. That portion of it was a lie. He never took any kind of meeting or had any conversations with TCU while he was recovering in hospital because his life was on the line. That part was a lie. Now, the meeting with USF and with Boulder, Colorado, those things actually took place. That happened. But the whole thing with the whole TCU and that story being over, it never happened.
So you don't believe that he took a call from TCU? I'm not saying that he went and interviewed, but you don't think that he took a call? So the interest
that came up from Deion Sanders, the interested teams at that time that came up from Deion Sanders was USF, it was Boulder, it was Colorado, and then if I'm not mistaken, Georgia Tech. Because remember, everybody was talking about him in Atlanta. There we go. It was Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a.
Let me stop.
Go ahead.
You talking about from last season?
No, I'm talking about the teams who he mutually had conversations with that he had interest from other teams on him joining the university. It was only those three.
Hold on. We all can't be talking over each other, y'all. So that's gonna make for a bad show for the listeners. So we need one person to go, and then the other person responds. All right. So go ahead, Doc. Say what you got to say real quick, and then I'm gonna let you talk.
I'm sure I won't say nothing else.
Go ahead, Doc.
Just like this. TCU called him. Whoever he called them, they called him in 2021. The man was in the hospital. He said he took that call. They said they weren't gonna give him that job because why? He only had 1 year of college coaching experience. Okay. And then two, they was already looking at Sonny Dykes from down the road and down at SMU anyway. So there was no way that he was going to get that TCU job. It ain't because it's a Christian university. Hell, I know a lot of Christian universities that do some damn debauchery. Look at Baylor. I'm sorry. All right. But in the end, that's in 2021. 2022, yes, Georgia Tech. Yes, Colorado. Yes, the Liberty job came open. Yes, USF came open. In fact, he didn't even get the call for USF. That was going to be Coach Willie Simmons to get the call for USF. Come on now. You're not going to sit here and just say all these names and then you skirt around the issue talking about you got a call, you got hit up by Tim Brewster, who's a damn tight ends coach. Come on now.
Let me let him say his piece. So I have a hard time believing that Tim Brewster would have let all this information out in a DM.
It was not only him, but it was Neely on the pregame show who also in other words, all you got to do is just look through all of the pregame shows from the very beginning, and it will tell you everything that you need to know. But as far as the three teams, the only teams that had mutual interest in Deion Sanders at that time was USF, it was Colorado, and it was Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech was the first conversation before those other two teams were even involved. The whole TCU thing, you're talking about a Power 5 school that financially is stable. You're talking about a team that has had a coach for over almost 15 to 20 years in Gary Patterson. That was never even a thought. It just was a random conversation because someone online on Twitter had brought it up. But the only three mutual interests that he had from teams was Georgia Tech, USF, and Boulder, Colorado. And in particular, everybody at first was thinking that he was going to USF because of the Florida connection. But then it wound up being Boulder because they gave him everything that he asked for and then some. That's why he was able to take all of the HBCU coaches and the players with them so they could downgrade the academic level in order for them to join and go over to, the university with no problems and no issues outside of Tyler Brown because of, I don't want to cross that bridge. But you pretty much get the gist of where I'm going here, right?
See what's crazy to me, how y'all come on here. Y'all watch some videos from another channel and you think you know everything. When you're talking to people,
that's not it.
When you're talking to people that have their ears to the ground, that have sources that were close to these
situations. I have those sources.
No, I guarantee you my source is way closer than yours.
I'm not trying to get into the debate of who's. I'm not trying to. What I'm saying is I'm not trying to flex my muscle as far as who has more sources. And I'm not trying to get into that flex because I'm not trying to flex my muscle here. But what I'm saying is I have enough information to make sure that I'm not throwing out just random false narratives on the HBCU, especially when you have Neely, who's a Jackson State alum, that could pretty much confirm everything that I'm telling you out of my own mouth. All you got to do is just get him on an interview or get next to him and ask them and see if everything that I'm saying is a bunch of BS or if it's true. Because there's already enough false narratives about HBCUs, and I defend that to the core. Everybody that brings up any kind of false narrative against any kind of HBCU, I'm the first one in their face. But no one's going to sit here and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's been already pretty much confirmed, and all you have to do is just go to these people yourself, and they'll pretty much confirm everything that I'm telling you. No, Deion Sanders did not want to leave. He wanted to level the playing field. But he could never do it because he was pretty much forced out because of jealousy and envy from the administration and president. That's a fact. That's why they all left. The way that they did in the manner they did. Yes, it was wrong, but that's why they left. They had no choice.
I don't think it's jealousy and envy. He wanted to be where he at. He wanted to be in the Power 5 conference.
Go ahead.
He wanted to be at a power conference. It ain't jealousy and envy. He
Well,
says that all the time.
I would say this. There was some issues between him and President Hudson. There was some issues between. They didn't get along. They didn't get along. Mm-mm. So there's some truth. There's some truth to that. But what I want him to understand is you can't be mad at the administration for having paused to do all these radical changes for someone they don't know that's gonna stick around to see the changes through. You know,
right?
Like going to another conference and and things like that. Even though I wanted Jackson State to make a move to LBS, I wanted that, but at the same time, it's gonna cost money. That's not gonna be an easy move. So I can understand the administration being kind of hesitant to do all these changes so fast now, because you have to actually do studies to see if it's even feasible for you to even make that jump.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I can't be mad at them for them. Like, hold up now, we just can't let you come in here and just do everything, and then we don't even know if you're gonna stick around for it. You could just up and leave when you get a better job offer. Now we're stuck, and now we're in a bad situation. Yeah, so I can't be mad at them for that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be like I said, one man ain't bigger than the university, and if if President Hudson was putting the university on his back at the time before all the issues came out with him, then you gotta, to me, you just gotta not abide by, but just see the light of what he's trying to do for the university, and just not worry about just straight up football. And then the narrative, everybody's coming up with this narrative where he helped all HBCUs. He really didn't. He only helped himself and Jackson State. And then the last narrative I was upset about, man, was the fact that people talking about, well, why don't you pull your money? All the HBCUs should have pulled their money in together so they can keep Prime at Jackson State. And I'm like, so what, for what? So we can whoop y'all, keep whooping y'all ass all, year after year after year.
Man,
but, I mean, sometimes people just don't, just don't think.
Prime was ready to go. He even said, and if y'all watch the 60-minute interview, he gave y'all a hint to what the real deal reason was. He said, I seen the opportunity for me and my kids, and I had to take it. What he meant, what I believe he meant was he seen the opportunity because he seen that Shedeur wasn't getting the attention for the Heisman at a HBCU that he was supposed to get, and he wanted all those accolades for his kids. So he decided to, when he seen the opportunity for him to take his kids to a Power 5 to where they can get all the accolades and all the attention, the Power 5 attention from the media. That's when he made the decision. That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
So all this other stuff, I mean, yeah, he would have stayed or whatever, but I think he was gone. I think he had already decided, okay, if I get a Power 5 job, I don't think he thought he was going to get a Power 5 job this quick. I don't think he thought that after a season or two, he was going to be getting all these offers. He didn't even, I don't even think that he thought he was going to be going undefeated and stuff like that. He didn't know this was going to happen this fast. Like, you know how hard it is to get a Power 5 job being at an FCS school? Some coaches coach for 5, 10. Some coaches coach for 20 years and never get that. So he didn't know it was going to happen that fast.
Yeah, the last ones I seen was Mike London and Ron Prince.
Yeah.
Mike London was at UVA, and then Ron Prince was at Kansas State. And then you had, what's the guy name? He was at North Dakota State. He was I think he went over to is it Chris Kleiman? Yeah, I think that was Chris Kleiman. Yeah, he's at Kansas State now. So I mean, you've seen dude, you seen coaches go from FCS to FBS and kind of gradually got the team better, but you never seen anybody like this just fast track it, just like that.
And look at what he did. When he seen, oh, okay, I'm getting attention from these Power Fives, what did he do the last season? He made sure that schedule was set up in a way where he can go undefeated. So he can get even more offers, because he's seen how realistic it was for him to jump to a Power 5. So that's why that schedule was set up that way. We didn't play anybody. We didn't play anybody out of. Did we play anybody out of conference that second schedule? I know FAMU was an out of conference game.
No, FAMU was a conference game. FAMU was a conference game. Tennessee State was an out of conference game. Grambling, even though it was a conference, it's a conference team.
Yeah.
They was out of conference schedule.
Yeah, I got them mixed up. Grambling and FAMU. Yeah.
So yeah, and then so it made it easier for them to get to be undefeated, and then he had to get the talent and just load the team up with straight up talent to where it's like a resume. Like, hey, I can get these kids to come up in here and we can get it done. So that's the reason why you seen like a Durante coming in, like even Antonio Doyle coming in. Of course, then you get Travis Hunter, you get kids from California. Like, you fast track that whole team to where it made you look good, and you got, you got the job that you, not saying that you wanted, but you got the position that you wanted in a Power 5.
Yeah, I just don't like that the narrative being painted that all Jackson State fans hate Coach Prime and all that. Man, most Jackson State fans are rooting for Coach Prime. They're rooting for Shedeur. They're rooting for Travis. They're rooting for all the Jackson State players. They bought in to the hype just like everyone else, But you can't tell them that they can't feel a certain type of way when their city is being portrayed like that. And then the coach that left is not saying anything. You can't be mad at them for that. So
right.
I just hate that, that this narrative is being put out about Jackson like that, and you got all these people attacking HBCUs because they idolize someone because of a celebrity. That makes no sense. You got these YouTubers with 200, 300, 500,000 subscribers making videos just pretty much just trashing HBCUs, and this is what's being promoted out here. That's what I don't like.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this: his truth test is coming up in these next 2 weeks,
and I hope he wins.
You got Oregon.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins.
You hope he wins. You got Oregon this Saturday, and then you got USC coming to Boulder the following weekend.
Yeah, I hope he wins. I hope he wins. I have no issues with Coach Prime, other than the way he left and his silence when little stuff pops off. That's the only thing about it. But other than that, man, I like seeing another black man be successful, just like anybody else. We don't want the worst for him. No, I don't believe no Jack State fan just really wants the worst for him. Now, a lot of Jack State fans probably want him to take some lumps before he becomes successful, just so he can, feel some pain because of what he put Jack State fans through. But I feel like, man, we not really mad at him like that. And that narrative that just being put out there like that, man, it's just crazy to see it all online. It's going mainstream. These people that never heard of Jackson, they got all these opinions about Jackson. It's crazy. John Hernando said, y'all praying on Prime's downfall is disgusting. See?
Yeah, I ain't praying on his downfall.
Yeah, who's praying on his
downfall? But you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be a realist. His team wasn't even supposed to win more than 3 games this season.
it's crazy to me, man. it's like it's crazy. These people, they don't know nothing about Jackson. They probably never set foot in Jackson. They probably don't know anybody from Jackson, but they saying that Jackson people are haters and that we want to see Coach Prime fail. No, we don't, man. Trust, we don't.
You know,
But let me get to this next topic
Nah,
since
you
I
go
got
ahead.
you
I'm gonna go
on.
ahead and listen to it, man.
Now I want
want
to get your input on this, man. Like what do you think about
Okay, let's go.
what happened with Travis, man?
Man, look. People can say it different ways, dog, bro. I mean, can you say it was a dirty? Can you say it was a dirty hit? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I done seen people get hit for less like that, you know. But people, you know, with the death threats and the calling of his phone and talking about his people and stuff like that, man, y'all just gotta chill out with that though, for real. This dude still ain't nothing but a kid.
Yeah.
It's football. Now I hate the fact that Travis dude got a lacerated liver, and hopefully he gets back in, you know what I'm saying?
I wonder how that happened though.
Gets back in time. Oh, he hit him on the side. Like on his left side. Oh, he got him. He got him. And you know, when you take it's like in boxing, you know, you take a liver shot.
Yeah,
too,
liver shot, yeah.
It knocks your whole, it knocks your whole equilibrium now. So
and they brought him right back into the game.
Glad that he getting better, man. He gonna be out for a couple of weeks. And it still sucks though, because he's you know, last year he had he had the foot and ankle issues, and he only played 6 games, and now it's his liver because of a cheap shot. Now, should it have been called a personal foul and thrown out of the game? Yes, because it really wasn't targeting, because he didn't lead with his helmet. He led with his shoulder. That's just, you know, I've seen it. You've seen it from all angles. But all the death threats and stuff like this on that kid, man, y'all just need to chill though.
Yeah, I don't agree with the death threats and all that, but I mean, I can't be mad at them for harassing him because, well, let me say this. I understand. I knew he was gonna get some harassment because that was a dirty play. Like when you hit someone like that, like he didn't even go after the ball. He just went straight to Travis and hit him. So yeah, man. I mean, they definitely, the NCAA definitely has to do something about that, because you can't have guys head hunting stars like that. Because what's to stop someone for head hunting a star quarterback? If they like, hey, we want to win this game, let's knock him out. We'll take the penalty. We'll take the 15, 30 yards. That ain't nothing, you know? So they got to do something about that.
But, you know, my thing on that too, man, like both teams was chirping all freaking day, all week. You know what I'm saying? They was chirping all week. One thing I did not like about what I saw after Travis got hit and he was down, ain't nobody on that damn sideline, on that Colorado sideline, went up to that boy's face and like, man, we about to get your ass. The only person that had any balls to do that was Shedeur. And Shedeur homeboy. You know what I'm saying? And like his little brother. So that's what I had to say. Like, if you want to talk about team, you want to be a team, you talk about family, man. If one of my family members go down, like we all about to fight.
We all just ended his Heisman campaign. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to win the Heisman this year. He had a good run going, and that just bring us to Shedeur, man. Shedeur's been playing phenomenal. Y'all, like I told y'all, I said I was gonna keep up with these guys while they was at Colorado, even though we mostly talk about SWAC content on here, but I still want to keep up with Travis and Shedeur and what the Jack State guys are doing up there in Colorado, man. But Shedeur, man, he's doing exactly what he was doing at Jackson State, is just on a bigger scale, and I'm happy that he's getting the recognition that he's getting. And one thing about Shedeur and Shiloh I love, they always show love they still show love to Jackson State. Like they never, I wish that Coach Prime could be like them a little bit. Like anytime Jackson State or HBCU come up, it's never negative with them. They always say something positive. You know, even Shiloh, you know, he did the J6 dance, well, the J5 dance when he was celebrating. You know, it's just that type of homage that, you know, they some solid guys, man. Shedeur and Shiloh, they solid. You know, I just wish Coach
Yeah.
Prime wouldn't let people goat him into saying negative stuff. Like, cause I felt like
Yeah, like
that interviewer was trying to goat him into saying something crazy, but he just couldn't. He couldn't. He didn't know how to really side skirt it. You know, he had to kind of
right.
say something. That lack of forward thinking thing. Yeah, that they ran with it.
Yeah, they ran with it, and then everybody else ran with it, and then they coming out putting out these same old narratives that we had saw and heard from January and February. Like, just chill. And then the dude that just got off the phone, man, like he's so down hole trying to be an advocate to try to get Ed Reed to come to the school. Like, bro, Ed Reed ain't coming nowhere, man.
Mm.
He ain't going nowhere near no kids, not no
Yeah,
college campus, nowhere.
he might get
Man,
a
that
he
dude
might
got to
get an
take this
assistant
emotion.
job or something like that. But I wouldn't want
Mm-hmm.
him to be the head of my ship. You know. And dude was accused of saying, "Oh, okay, yeah." They talk about the guy that hit. Shiloh graduated from Jack State. He's an alumni, so he represented JSU well. Yeah, man. Let me tell you something, man. I have no ill will towards those guys. I want those guys to be successful, and I love what they're doing. But you know, I am from Jackson. I was born and raised in Jackson. I know the people in Jackson. Those are some great people in Jackson. And for a city that's been going through water crisis and all this kind of stuff, man, you know, that just kind of made me mad to see that narrative being put out there, and he's not saying anything to kind of back them up.
Right,
That kind of made me mad,
right.
you know.
Like, man, just you can squash all that, man. Look, don't talk about them in the water situation. That ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
People of Jackson don't have nothing to do with that. That's between the governor
yeah,
and the mayor of Jackson.
right.
You like all that stuff. Like you could just squash that, but you know what I'm saying. I ain't from Jackson. I went to Jackson State too, but I ain't from Jackson. Like every city got an issue. I'm born and raised here in Dallas. We got issues out the wazoo, but we don't down. You know what I'm saying? People don't down talk it, don't downplay it because we know what we going through, and at least people trying to come up with solutions and try to curtail the problem and curtail the situation. But when it's stuff like that and that people don't have no control over, like you can't, the potholes and stuff like that, bro. We don't people don't have no control over that. Every city in America, a big city in America, got a freaking pothole.
Yeah, so
Every big, yeah,
Betty M. Sullivan said, "I'm concerned for Travis and his future going forward." Hey, that's a fair point. You know, a lot of NFL
that's
team
point.
might be looking at him like, are you injury prone? You know, or is there something? Even though you can't really blame him for getting hurt because that was just like a clear target and shot. So, but you know, he was hurt last year, his freshman year, and now he's out this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that could be a concern for some of those scouts. And they're gonna be looking for ways to knock him anyway. So hopefully they don't run with that narrative that he might be injury prone, because he has been. This is the second time he's been hurt and having this to sit out for a while. But I think he's a dog. He should
Yeah.
be a top 3 pick whenever he come out. But you just never know what goes on with these
So
scouts.
I got a question for you, man. What you thought about Saturday's game? Like, because I'm all the games that was on Saturday, all the schools that played FBS competition. Because like I said, it was a bad representation of how we were looked at, you know. with everybody that was playing. Like Davis Richard even survived the first half. Like they took him out because he had re-aggravated his ankle against UCLA. Prairie View taking a big old L to SMU. Texas Southern taking a fat L to Rice. And, you know, of course, yeah, we getting 77 put on us by Texas State. What do you think about that, man?
Well, the Prairie View game is embarrassing, but SMU is they've been building up their program, so they about to be a new Power 5 school. So, so I'm not really shocked at how they performing. Rice is a little surprising because they got beat 59-7. Texas Southern got beat 59-7. So man, yeah, it was a bad weekend. Delta State beat Valley, like that's a D2 school, you know. That's a D2 school. Well, Delta State is usually pretty good, but come on, Valley, y'all got you can't be losing to a D2 school. So yeah, well, Alcorn did beat McNeese though, so.
Or even FAMU struggling with a D2 school in the first half, but then you want to, you know, you turn it on in the second half. So it's like, you know, to me, like what I saw, especially what I saw in our game on Saturday, like I just saw our dudes never gave up.
Yeah,
but they never gave up. Like
you know who I'm really looking at though, UAPB coach. I got a good feeling about him. Ooh. It's something about him I like.
We did an interview.
Yeah,
we interviewed him.
I like him, man.
At Media Day, man.
I like him.
He cool.
I like him, man. I feel like he's gonna have that team playing. I think they're gonna do real good this year. Yeah, they beat Miles College this year, and you know UAPB has been known for being a bad program. So I think give him a couple of years, I think he's gonna have them playing well. But yeah, man, I don't want to run this show too long. I've been on 2 hours and 15 minutes. We talked about so much tonight. I know the Coach Prime conversation and the callers, they just, you know, they just kind of took control of the show. But you know, I think it made for a good listen for people. It's good to see what people got to say about that situation. Like I said, I'm hoping the best for, you know, all the Jack State guys that went off and they're playing for different schools. I'll try to keep up with them and keep y'all updated on what they're doing. From what I've seen, Kevin Coleman, he caught a couple of catches for Louisville, but you know he haven't done anything like too crazy to, you know, warrant a video or anything like that. But yeah, some of the other guys, man, I'm gonna be keeping up with them and letting y'all know about them. But yeah, Shedeur, the big test is this weekend. The big test, he's gonna be without Travis. He's not gonna have Travis, and he's going against Oregon at Oregon. So but this could be a Heisman moment for him if he beats this team. If he beats this team, everybody's gonna believe. Nobody's gonna not believe.
That UNC game there.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna believe because it's in college football best interest that Colorado keeps winning because they're getting so many eyes on the game. When you got my mama watching college football, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people, parents and people that don't watch college football are not watching it because, you know, they interested in what Coach Prime is doing. He's a lightning rod. You know, he's made, you know, Colorado the new epicenter for college football, man. And I can't hate that, you know. That's exciting to see, and that's why we're talking about it. But I just wish that all the negative stuff, I wish that he would just kind of do something to kind of just end, you know, that those narratives being put out, or say something to kind of, you know, kind of let people know that he means well for Jackson people and that he appreciated his time in Jackson. But I'll let you have that last word.
Oh man. Well, man, I thank you for taking the call as always. Man, everybody make sure y'all get the likes up on this channel right here. And if you can, if you want to, man, you think I could plug my show in?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead. You know you can always plug the show.
Okay. Oh yeah, so everybody, if you want to, man, check me out on HBCU Overdrive on YouTube, and if you can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram on HBCU Overdrive. So I'll be on there tomorrow, man. Give out my top 10 list is what I do with give it out with HBCU Nightly. So hey, make sure y'all, when y'all go over there, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel too. Well, I appreciate you, bro.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Uh-huh.
All right, that was Doc Holiday calling in. Just provide some commentary for the show tonight, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. You know, the show, like sometimes I have the show planned how I wanted to go, and then it take left turns, you know. But I think we had a good show tonight. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Deion fans, you can subscribe to the channel too. We still gonna talk about what they got going on. We still gonna talk about it, and we're not Deion haters over here. We love Deion. But you know, we're gonna still critique when things don't when he does something that we don't agree with, we're gonna critique it, you know. So y'all don't have to be scared. Y'all can still come over here and listen to the content. And you know, we're not Deion haters over here. So y'all kill that narrative. SWAC looks please and social media. Looks please. What would you say? Looks please. D.I. love until I can't play anymore. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in to the show. Spontaneous combustion shows are the best. Yeah, man. Like I be like sometimes I have it planned. I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about this first, and then we're gonna talk about this, and then I get a caller. Like we had some crazy calls tonight. We had some calls that, you know, it just took things left field. But I actually like when calls like that happen because, you know, they add a lot to the show. And it's entertaining. You know, it's entertaining to see different perspectives. So, man, I'm cool with all that, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. I'll be dropping small videos here and there because it's some subjects that I want to talk about that, you know, I could better talk about it in a standalone video. So I'll be dropping those pretty soon. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm gone.